You've written about how things did actually get disturbing, but at the time, the age you were at, it was mostly just confusing.
Yeah, it was confusing.
And you didn't tell your mom?
No. He had become naked during the course of a game of hide-and-go-seek, and I was very confused by that.
You said his eyes changed.
His eyes changed, and I got a real sense of direction at that moment of looking into his eyes with him there naked, that this was extremely dangerous and bad.
Can you describe to me what your relationship was like in 1974?
Well, it had changed. You know, we got together in the fall of '69, so we'd been together several years, and things changed in that he would start walking home late at night rather than spending the night at my house. Just subtle changes where I felt like maybe I was losing him.
You thought maybe, worst case scenario, he's seeing someone else.
Yes. Never in my dreams did I think he was out stalking women and then eventually abducting and murdering women.
Lynda Ann Healy was a very popular young woman because she was on the radio 5 days a week at 7 o'clock in the morning. She gave the ski report.
In all of my years of studying murder, I've never heard of an abduction quite like the Lynda Ann Healy abduction.
I was one of many who listened to her in the morning, and I realized the day that she wasn't on the air that there was something unusual.
She never showed up for work. Bundy used to frequent a bar, Dante's Tavern. On the last night of her life, Lynda Ann Healy went to Dante's with another girl and a friend of theirs. Bundy probably did follow them home and waited, and he checked the front door, and it was unlocked. This is what makes this abduction so incredibly surreal. He goes down in the basement, enters Healy's room. He's aware that there's another bedroom on the other side. He would tell a writer later that he choked her. He moves her off the bed, he takes her nightie off of her, hangs it up in the closet, and he makes the bed, almost like in a military fashion. And he carries her into the night. He takes her down the front steps, and they're steep steps, to wherever his car's parked and puts her in there.
He would turn the passenger seat around so it was flat. And I asked him why he did that once. And he said, well, because that's the way he put his cargo in the car. How's that for disgusting?
Once he got girls to the destination, he raped them, he bludgeoned them, he molested their bodies.
And from there, the nightmare began. Then Donna Manson. She disappeared from Evergreen State College. And then you have the abduction of Susan Rancourt from Central Washington.
Susan Rancourt in Ellensburg was on her way to a meeting to see about being a dorm counselor.
In May of 1974, Roberta Kathleen Parks went missing. And in those days, it was reported just as a missing student.
And these young women started disappearing, and people wondered what's going on here.
And then Brenda Ball was abducted near the Flame Tavern. She wasn't a college student. That made it all the more challenging because it adds to the randomness of the victims.
He took his victims from where he could fit in. I mean, he fit in great.
This is the psychological factor. You don't think a killer of women is going to be a good-looking, articulate young man. You're not thinking in terms like that.
Georgianne Hawkins was a student at the University of Washington. Georgianne was abducted in June of 1974.
She disappeared from an alley one night behind Greek Row. Being a university district, people are walking around at all hours. She went down the alley. There was Bundy.
I was moving up the alley using a briefcase and some crutches, and a young woman walked down. I saw her round the north end of the block into the alley and stop for a moment and then keep on walking down the alley toward me. And about halfway down the block, I encountered her, and asked her to help me carry the briefcase, which she did, and we walked back up the alley.
Does he look like a killer? Nah. Does he look like an abductor of women? No. He looks like somebody in need. He's got like a leg cast on these crutches.
I went to his room one night. He had crutches leaning against the wall by the door to his room. And I asked him what was that for? And he said that his landlord had hurt himself and was on crutches, but he was going to take the crutches back to the rental place. So that made sense to me.
So they weren't his, according to him.
Right.
He had placed a crowbar behind the right rear tire.
Basically, when I reached the car, what happened was I knocked her unconscious with the crowbar.
He hit her with such force that she came out of one of her shoes and both her earrings flew off.
There were some handcuffs there, along with the crowbar, and they handcuffed her and put her in the passenger side of the car and drove away.
And drive to a spot that he's already picked out, going to be off of a main highway. He said, sometimes you can check the moon out too, so when it's going to be bright, and I don't have to leave my headlights on to see what I'm doing.
And the speed with which she would have had to have been abducted tells you that probably the person had done this before. We really could not find anything definitive that tied all the victims together.
The long and short of it was that I, again, knocked her unconscious and strangled her.
Ted loved nighttime because he could be out but not be seen. But then there's the day where he took 2 girls in broad daylight.
And those abductions would come back to bite Bundy. And the very simple reason is people saw him.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.